So yeah, I'm going to talk a bit more about the topic which Thorsten just introduced you to. Yeah, my name is Moritz Duge. I'm working at Allotropia until now, so from now on for Collabora. And yeah, let's dive into this. So, next slide. This is not the next slide. This is my introduction slide, and that's the next one. Yeah, LibreOffice in the browser. So yeah, as Thorsten mentioned, there are quite some use cases what people do with an Office software, and the whole thing is moving into the web. I guess I don't need to tell much about this here. All you guys knowing Collabora Online, having that in the browser. Just repeat a bit what's nice about the browser. We just had this question, why not use stuff on the desktop? So nice thing about a browser is we have something which is not OS specific. Pretty much everything is defined by open standards. We have two major browser implementations which are open source and which pretty much implement all of the standards for this environment. And yeah, as mentioned before, it's very convenient for the users. They don't need to download some executable and install it and stuff like that. So that's a nice thing. And yeah, and something else we can achieve with handling the whole thing with WebAssembly is actually that we can run it from pretty slim web server. I guess Thorsten also mentioned that before. So for smaller environments and things where you don't have a lot of money to start with for a server environment, even for people like me who like to run it at home, it's pretty nice if you can run it on something like a Raspberry Pi and you don't need a lot of server capacity if more users pop up and you need your server to render the documents, and that's instead then happening on the client. That's a nice thing here with WebAssembly. Yeah, so yeah, I think I mostly skipped this slide. It's what I said before. It's an open standard, works well in Firefox and Chromium. We get up to 100%, sometimes just 30% performance, but that's acceptable here. We're not searching for prime numbers, so that's okay with 30%. And yeah. So, and there are additional benefits we get when we use WebAssembly to run the Office code inside the browser instead of the server. So that's some nice side effects we have here. The first thing I like to mention is we actually get end-to-end encryption for free. So if you use the standard encryption we have for ODF documents with password protection, or maybe in the future even GPG encrypted files, those documents will be end-to-end encrypted automatically when using this approach, because they will be decrypted after they reach the client, and then they are decrypted by the WASM process inside the browser. So we have end-to-end encryption for free here. It improves the privacy of the users. And another nice thing is it also improves the server security, because we don't have the risk that a malicious user might try to exploit the Office process running on a server. So instead, everything is running inside the WebAssembly environment of the browser. And even if you think in the other way around in terms of security, that somebody might try to attack the user, everything is running in a pretty confined sandbox the browsers are providing, and we are relying on pretty strong security work which is being done by the browser providers here. So that's a good thing too. Yeah, then I think Thorsten already showed you a brief timeline. So this is actually what it looked, I think, in 2022. So that's when we had LibreOffice basically running inside the browser, as the words say it. But that's not really the appealing thing we want to have. It's basically the desktop thing rendered by Qt inside the browser. And yeah, we still have this whole desktop UI there. And if you click, for example, the save button, it will actually just save it to some memory area of the browser and not to some real position on your file system. It won't give you a download dialog or something like that. So that's what we've been working on. But before I get to that, let me show you some quick points. Again, what Thorsten was mentioning before, a lot of organizations use Office software to integrate it with other software, like order administration and accounting or bookkeeping. And we just had this small, nice Debian mini conference in Hamburg, in a nice place with some rooms where people could stay, which traveled to Hamburg for that conference. And guess how they did the bookkeeping for this rooms, which you could rent there. It was a specialized business application. In German, there's this nice word, Fachapplikation. And it was basically built around a Microsoft Office in this case. And the vendor of this software is now moving it into the browser. And that's a nice use case where we can use LibreOffice to enable developers to build a web-based application around an Office software, like really a lot of companies are used to do this on the desktop. Just some examples where this is being put into use on the desktop until now. The new future will be in the web, and it's a really great thing for free software to step in, because if you try to do a web application around Microsoft Office, the licensing from Microsoft just doesn't have this use case, and you won't really have a good proper legal license for that. You can't really do it with the Microsoft licensing. Back to WebAssembly. So that's again the timeline. In 2021, we had the prototype I just showed you, and in 2024, then we got to the point where we could really get to the UNO API and make this programmable via JavaScript. And this really enables this embedding of LibreOffice into web apps where those closely interact with each other. There should have been a screenshot. I see that's not here. Okay. Actually, I wanted to show you a screenshot of how this looks like. So I need to dive into the code instead. I don't know, Naomi, I think she edited our slides a bit. You maybe know where the screenshot went? No, okay. Yes, this is basically the code we have when we control LibreOffice from the JavaScript environment. And this is what it looked like in the end of 2024. It's initialization code to get everything running, but it's not nice in terms of web development. It's not something you want to show a web developer. We have this nasty append child stuff at the end, which is appending text to the HTML document. That's not really nice. So I need to skip a little bit forward because of the time. So what we did is basically we converted the whole thing, or we packaged it into a nice JavaScript module, which is a JavaScript standard which was introduced into around 2015 to get rid of the old 1995 JavaScript scripty style coding stuff. So that's how we can do this now since a few weeks. And then we have a nice import statement which imports our module, builds an instance from that, and then you can basically start typing your UNO code to do whatever you like to do. And there's the screenshot. Ha, wonderful. And there's again this nice PDF button, which LibreOffice has always been known for. Should we take questions now, or maybe at the end? I think at the end. Nice PDF button. What LibreOffice had always been known for. We also have it here, and let's just do a quick dive in the code we have for that. So this is basically a standard UNO code, which instructs the LibreOffice code running inside the WebAssembly to save this document as a PDF to a kind of virtual file system, which is provided by the mscripten environment, which we are using for WebAssembly. And then you basically have a standard JavaScript code here, which is reading this data from this virtual mscripten file system, putting it into a byte array, and then via standard JavaScript code. Looks a little bit ugly, but that's actually how JavaScript does it in the browser. Builds a download link from this byte array, and you get a nice pop-up where you can download your PDF file from the LibreOffice running here inside the canvas. Yeah, so just some quick recent updates we did in the last month. We got Impress working now. That's another big thing. Thanks to my colleague Stefan over there, the clipboard support is now properly working. That's wonderful. The scaling is perfect, even on high DPI screens. Everything is rendered sharply. Balazs fixed the anti-aliasing. That's also now very nice. We streamlined a lot of the examples we have, so that's a very nice place, the examples to look into if you want to start off building your own thing. And yeah, and some future plans we have, we'll definitely have more TypeScript code in the future. So this helper library I just showed you is the first step in that direction. Yeah, some migrations. Web framework integration is a big thing in the web. So the demos I showed you, that's built with Vue.js. We're also planning on implementing the other big web frameworks like Angular.js. Yeah, and that's basically it. I guess time's up. Thank you. Any questions?